Hello and welcome back today on my YouTube channel. And this time I'm going to place the mic a bit further away from my mouth. I seem to always pick up the slightest breathing sound, and which is not good, and it makes editing a chore, cutting out all those sounds. So I apologize for that. It makes me sound like I'm either a few tons in weight or I have some breathing disorder with my lungs. I'm not sure if it's the mic's fault. It's a Pioneer headset, and I'm not sure if it's the camera, because it is like a 1,000-something pound camera from the university. So anyway, to the review. You see here, it's December in the UK, and yeah, it looks rubbish outside, and it's only 4:20. Not too bad today. Anyway, today's review. It's not Kamen Rider. Instead, it's my favorite Western hero, Batman. I have 2 more Kamen Rider videos left, so don't worry. Anyway, this is a Batman Begins board game. It's quite old now. You can probably get some pictures on it online quite easily. Next year, the last film of the trilogy should be out, if Warner Brothers decide to carry on making Batman films great. Christopher Nolan's done, isn't he? So here's the board game. Let's look at the cover then. So looking at the cover, it's got that really orangey brown color theme of the first movie. Dark Knight is sort of blue, and Dark Knight Rises also seems to be blue as well. I wonder if they'll change the color scheme. But anyway, it's sort of that warm look to it, and the second movie is more cold. This cover is okay, except Batman looks a bit weird on the picture. Ninjas look okay. You get some nice Gotham City drawings in the back, although it's slightly ruined with all the languages they put on it. I mean, yeah, they have to be on there so they can sell it easily to different countries in Europe and so on, but it does feel a bit messy. So look over Mattel in the corner there. Then there's a little clear area so you can see the 4 Batman figures inside. They obviously couldn't use any other hero because, Batman Begins only had Batman. It would be a bit weird to have Commissioner Gordon as Alfred. It's the little figures. But anyway, it says the title, it's Batman Begins, and then the board game's Shadow Assault, and the other language is there. It says 8+ and 2 to 5 players, and inside says more than 20 little mini figures, exclusive. On the side, you get a little picture of the board, name again, same. And let's look at the back. On the back, you get a nice big picture of what you get inside the box, which is always good. The game in action. Yeah. And a brief description on the back. Some Batman DC Warner Brothers logo. The old DC logo. The new one's okay. And it says on the back, it says, become the Dark Knight as he patrols the dangerous streets and all controlled. Wave after wave of ninjas and their microwave cannon. Can Batman defeat the League of Shadows in time? Roll the battle dice and see. And all the other languages. And you got little contents in the corner. Telling you what to get inside. So let's open this thing up and have a look. So yes, indeed, inside you get loads of little figures. All the League of Shadow ninjas are sort of clear plastic, and the 4 Batman figures are not black. There's 4 dice, 3 greeny dice, some cards, and then the board. Take a look at the manual. Again, it has all those languages. English starts in the first page, and then it all just opens up like that, which is not that good. I wish it was more like a booklet, but there's obviously a cheaper way to produce these things. So it's not too bad. You open the first page and stay with English. I'll get back to that later. First positive thing is this box can serve as a dice rolling area, because people always find issues throwing the dice on the table and it goes on the floor. Well, with this box you can do that. So that's all good. You can get these little cards that go on the board and tell you how much life you have left. Different colored Batmans and the microwave cannon. And The Batman dice follows the theme quite well. It's black with slightly yellowy golden color on it on the dots. Whilst our Ghouls dice has the numbers and more functional as well. It kind of looks like a Lego for it's green and red. Let's look at one of the Minions figures. Let's zoom in. It looks quite good on the camera actually, and itself is not bad. It's just a single color plastic, which would probably look quite good if you set on like LED light or something. So I've done is just stuck it on a LED light now, and yeah, it does look kind of cool. Every single minion is exactly the same. Little bit details there. It's all molded, still lines on the outfit. Get to see it's wearing that kind of jacket, got little bits on the hands. Overall, it's quite detailed. All details are there. It's transparent and it's hard to tell on the camera maybe. But you know, it even has little eye holes where the mask opens up for him to see. On the back, well, the back's quite good as well. Everything's there. All the patterns on the suit, like in the movie, just near the end of the movie, it's all there. So you know, these figures aren't bad. So let's have a look at the Batman figures. All four of them are Batman, and they have this little sticker on the stand to tell you which Batman it is. Let's look at this, the blue Batman. It would have been kind of cooler if all Batmans had slightly different colour on the suit, but you know, they can paint them stuff, I guess. The detailing on these little mini statues are quite good. All the muscles are there. The little hole in where the belt is, it's all painted nicely. So yeah, all details are there, and which is one of the main reasons why I bought this thing in the first place. I looked at it and go, oh, these little figures are kind of cool, and they are. About that size of my hand, and well, this one looks like this is the kicking sort of thing. Very standard. Next one is the orange Batman. Kind of really cool if it was like the parachute Batman action figure from the animated series, but hey, this one is running sideways. Yeah. And here's the purple Batman. He's just standing quite aggressively, angry. And finally, there's the my favorite one, the yellow sticker Batman. So he's in this gliding position. God, the depth of focus is so tiny. So yeah, all these figures are quite cool. I think the best part of the board game, and they are kind of similar to those bigger Begin statues because they are sort of signature stands of the way it was in the film. So that's that. First negative thing about this board game is that the way it's folded up, sometimes you gotta put quite a lot of force into bending it back. So it's flat. It doesn't like to stay flat. Even, I mean, it's on the bed right now, but when it was on the table, it still won't stay flat too well. So let's set up this game. So onto the game itself. Before we begin, what you get inside the box, just again, is 1 game board, 4 Batman pieces, 20 ninja pieces, 3 green dice, and 1 black dice, and 5 damage markers, these little pieces. And when you start the game, you have your little Batman life bar. When it reaches 0, you're dead. So that's what the cards are for. Every time you get hit, you move it along the side. And this is Ra's al Ghul's sort of microwave emitter bar. Starts at 4, but he can charge it and make it to 10 and make it nearly impossible to kill. This game, I do notice that it's a little bit biased towards Ra's al Ghul, which makes sense in some way. So here's the board. It's not really that creative, but it has a purpose, because instead of rolling the dice to see how many spaces you go, you roll the dice every time to move 1 step. Sounds quite tedious, but all you have to do is roll higher than a 2 for a Batman figure to move, but that depends on each round. So the way this game starts is that you place all these clear figures on the red squares, you place your Batman figures next to the color square in each corner, you play clockwise. If you don't have enough people to play, the good guy will play more than 1 Batman, and 1 person plays as well as a Ghul. So if you only have 2 people, then you against your friends controlling all 4 Batmen. So Ra's al Ghul starts first, and there's 2 things he can do. He can either increase the power of the emitter, or increase the power of each space. If he does decide to increase the emitter power, here's what he does. He rolls his dice, all 3 of them. If you get 2 of the same, you move 1 up on the little green power bar right here. If he rolls all 3 of the same picture, he can go 1, 2, and 3, and then he'll charge up his microwave power. But after he does that, he's not allowed to attack any Batman or move any of his troops. So you kind of choose what you want to do. The other thing he can do is increase the defense value. One last thing is Ra's al Ghul does need at least 1 minion left alive on the board to increase the defense value of the microwave emitter. So the second thing he can decide to do is roll just 1 dice to see a few things. There's a number on the dice. The number is determined on defense value of each space. By default, it's 2, so meaning each Batman has to roll bigger than the 2 to move 1 square next to him, and then they roll again to move to the next space again and again and again. But if he rolls a 6, for example, means that each Batman has to roll a 6 to move 1 space, or each Batman has to roll a 6 to defeat one of the minions. It also means that Ra's al Ghul can move 6 minions, 6 spaces, or he can decide not to move anything. This is the part where I feel, oh my god, he is quite overpowered. So if one of his minions reach a Batman, he needs to roll a dice. He needs to roll a little ninja face. If he doesn't roll that, he loses. So that's kind of like the balancing bit. He can't defeat a Batman unless he rolls that 1 picture on the dice. Anything else, no go. So after Ra's al Ghul's done all his moves, it's Batman's turn, and basically what Batman has to do is he rolls the dice every time he moves. And if the defense value is at 3, he needs to roll 3 or bigger to move only 1 space. And then, oh look, there's someone right next to him. He has to fight that minion and move into his space. Say if he rolls bigger than a 3 again, then he defeats the minion and moves into the minion's space. Minions can walk through each other, but Batman can't walk through Batman. And when you're next to any minion, you have to fight them. Diagonal doesn't count, and it has to be horizontal or vertical. Another thing to note is that if a minion is standing next to more than 1 Batman, they get to attack each Batman once. So if there's 2 Batman next to him, you attack each Batman once. It means you're going to attack twice that round. If you lose, you don't die. You just stay there and get stuck, really. So here, after playing some time, eventually some Batman might get it to the middle, might not. But if they do, you're there. And the cannon, of course, has its own attack as well. And the cannon attack is the number 4, 5, sort of green little circle. You've got 3 dice, so you have to choose which damage dice will go to. You have to choose that before you roll the dice. So if one Batman has 1 health left, you say, okay, I'll roll 1 to him. But if you lose and you don't kill that Batman, well, you can't just say, oh, I'll roll again for him. No, that wouldn't be fair. Each of these green means 1 health loss, so even if the Batman does get to the middle, they're gonna die pretty quickly unless they can kill the microwave emitter. Again, this is very biased towards the Ra's al Ghul because each dice has 2 of these green symbols. So that's like 6 bits that you can roll out of 3 dice to kill the Batman. And they only have, by this time they might have been quite damaged, and they only start off with 4 health. So overall, I mean, this game is kind of cool in a lot of ways. I mean, the board, it's kind of cool. Everything's there. You can fight through it quite easily. It's not hard to play either. It's very clear with little symbols. It's almost like a smaller version of a big sort of RPG kind of board game. I hesitate to say something like Dungeons and Dragons, but maybe like the Doom board game you see. And that looks amazing. You build little maps and so on. But it is, you do need to work together. If you're playing as the Batman people, you need to think a lot harder, which makes sense in a way that you're trying to defeat this big villain. But for a board game, it's slightly unfair. So overall, in the end, you got nice figures, nice transparent minion figures, but as the Batman, it is quite hard to play. So tell me what you think.